Hi, Dr. Steele here, and I want to go over with you a diagram that we use in emotionally focused therapy in order to understand the negative cycle. I have found it to be extremely helpful to have actually something to feel out as you are trying to understand what happens, who does what are the emotions involved, what are they saying to themselves, what are their softer emotions, what are they really longing for. So I want to give you an opportunity to just kind of hear about how this diagram can be useful. So I'll go through each part as best as I can, although I know that it may be a little confusing for you. The first thing that you want to look at is what is that thing that they do. And each person, based on their position in the cycle, is going to have very characteristic things that they're going to do when there is some kind of disconnect or one of them is triggered in the relationship. So that is the behavior. What is it that they do? Well, complain, criticize, blame are going to be something that the pursuer will have a tendency to do. So that will be the pursuer's behavior. And then the withdrawer's behavior is going to be to defend themselves. Well, I'm going to defend myself because my partner thinks that I'm to blame for everything. And as they're defending themselves, the partner is just getting more frustrated. The pursuer is actually attributing things to their partner, like you never get it, you never understand, you're never gonna get it. And then as they are having these perceptions and they're thinking these thoughts about their partner, like you don't even care about me. But they're not saying you don't care about me, or maybe they are. They're just continuing to tell their partner the things that are wrong with them. And so the withdrawer, what are going to be their perceptions and their attributions? One of them is going to be, you just want to control me. You just want to dominate me. You just always want to have your way. I can't get anything right. Does any of this sound familiar? And so then what is that emotion that they're experiencing when they're in that negative cycle? Well, anger, frustration, irritation. Those are secondary emotions. Secondary emotions will always beget secondary emotions. And so they stay kind of on the top part of this infinity symbol. They stay in the fight, in the negative cycle. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. There is no way out. You got to get below the secondary emotions. You've got to get to the primary emotions. What are those primary emotions? What's underneath? You don't care about me. What's underneath? I don't matter to you. Well, obviously, there's going to be a lot of sadness and a lot of fear. There's going to be this fear of rejection. I can't ever do anything right. This feeling of inadequacy. This feeling of not being enough by the withdrawer. And the pursuer is going to feel so alone. This fear of abandonment. You're never there for me. I can never count on you. So much fear and sadness that's underneath those secondary emotions that have to be discovered. And of course, what is the longing that goes along with fear and sadness? It's going to be a sense of, I need to know that my sadness matters to you. Or I need to know that my fear of abandonment matters to you. And when I feel that fear and that sadness, are you going to be there for me? And of course, you can see why it's so important to get to that fear and sadness, those vulnerable emotions, Because when people are in their vulnerable emotions, it begets vulnerability. And that's what you're aiming for, is two people who are able to be vulnerable underneath that negative cycle, creating a new dance where they're able to share. I just need to know I matter to you. I just need to know that you want me. And when it's shared with that sadness and with that fear in a soft way, the partner can get it. So this diagram is something that you're going to want to actually write out these various parts of the cycle. You want to complete it in its entirety, and you want to keep referring back to it. Guys, you're fighting each other. You've been fighting each other in your demon dialogues, in your negative cycle for all these years. You gotta fight the negative cycle. You gotta fight the dragons together. Quit fighting each other. So hopefully that makes sense, and you can start practicing with it. Start with your own marriage or one of your own relationships so you can have an experience around it, and that you'll find that helpful. So have a wonderful day.